My name is Dr. John A Lukyamuzi with Christian Faith Ministries for All Nations. Our mission is to teach and change people through the gospel of the good news. Would you care to help us? And by joining us and being partners, visit our website cfmfan.org. Thank you for your donation and God bless you.
When I wake up in the morning, the Lord is there by my side. And as I move during the day, my friend is watching over me.
Dr. Lukyamuzi is a man of many talents and visionary leader who has inspired and transformed the many churches on his tours throughout the U.S. and other countries. Dr. Lukyamuzi specializes in empowering leading business organizations, churches, and nonprofits with compassionate speeches and dynamic subjects such as relationships, self-esteem, and finding one's purpose in life. His many appearances on television and radio have reached millions and have been a motivation to many in finding faith and their path to God's unconditional love. He is a man of wisdom whose testimonies edify, encourage, and inspire faith in audiences that have included Nelson Mandela, Martin Sheen, Jesse Jackson, and more.
Church by Phone, an all-week late-night telephone conference call. Join us live via telephone.
I just want to thank you, Dr. John, and I want to thank also your wife, Pete, and I just want to thank CFM and anybody who's involved with it.
Numerous conference calls, and they've helped me a lot in my family, business, and spiritual life.
And I would hope that people would log on to his prayer line and get set free from bondage like I have been.
Church by Phone is Monday to Saturday from 10 p.m. East Standard Time to 11:15 p.m. Additionally, Fridays overnight from 11:15 to 5 a.m. East Standard Time. Special Uganda services from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Friday.
All is Well Television and Radio. Hosted by executive producer Dr. John Lukyamuzi.
Hello and welcome to All is Well with Dr. John Lukyamuzi. All is Well is available through live stream at www.cctvcambridge.org/channel09 on Monday evenings from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. East Standard Time, and on Tuesdays from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Once again, that is www.cctvcambridge.org/channel09.
Grace Conferences, a live presentation with different featured guest speakers, musicians, and performers.
Grace Conferences take place from spring through summer till fall. The Grace Conference, hosted by me, featuring a variety guest speakers, live musical guests, and even dance performances. The Grace Conferences take place every other month on the last Saturday of the month.
Audio recordings. For your own personal library, additionally invite Dr. John A Lukyamuzi to speak at your event.
Audio recordings. Many of my speeches and programs are recorded, and audio recordings are available for your inspiration and motivation. Additionally, some of my show can be viewed on YouTube. youtube.com/Dr. John A Lukyamuzi. God bless you. Hello and welcome to All Is Well with Dr. John Lukyamuzi. I'm so excited that we have come to you live to our Monday broadcast. Today, Monday, I got a very, very special guest, and this is going to be a treat for you. We'll be talking about nutrition, we'll be talking about diet, because our guest today believes in wanting you to be well. This is really very exciting. But for those of you who are tuning in today for the first time, this program is called All Is Well with Dr. John Lukyamuzi, whereby we provide hope, whereby we provide knowledge, whereby we provide and tell people about the grace of God. Because in this world, you can't do it alone. We focus a lot about education, because the more you become knowledgeable, the more you will be prosperous, the more you'll be successful. And so this is a very important program. And also I'd like to welcome our Facebook audience. It's going to be a great treat for you today. And by the way, those of you who are within this area, you can actually call in even from overseas. And the number is 617-876-0055. I repeat the number. This is a live program. It's a little 314, because this will be replayed later on. But if you call in now, 3.14, that is Boston time or East Standard Time, we'll be able to answer your question live here in our studio. And so we are really, really very, very excited that we are coming to you live. Well, let's get started. Again, I want to introduce our guest. Her name is Jocelin, and those of you can see her on Facebook. And I'm gonna turn on for those who are here as in Cambridge. There she is, younger lady, beautiful lady. I mean, the shape, because she believes in what she preaches. When you look at her, she is in good shape. And she's going to tell you how to do this. And she's like saying, if she can do it, you can do it. So I'm really, really excited. She's a very educated young lady. She has gone to at least 2 universities. She's a professional. She has her own business. She's so determined to help people. She has a goal. So, Jocelyn, I want to thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. John. I'm excited.
Well, I'm really excited too. I'm really excited about this because you're gonna help a lot of my audience. You're gonna help a lot of people on Facebook. We have at least right now people are gonna be watching this program. At least over 20 countries represented.
Fantastic.
You know, so you don't have to
Very
fly
exciting.
there. They can hear
Just
you.
listen in.
Yes. And so this is gonna be really very good. And I'm gonna suggest again, also this there we go, so that my audience from Facebook they can be able to see you. So briefly, I want Jocelyn,
Yeah.
because most people they are seeing you for the first time. Would you be kind enough and tell us who you are and even what drove you
Yeah.
to get into this profession of all these professions around?
Yeah, that's a great question, Dr. John. So,
Okay.
who I am, my name's Jocelin Lamprey. I'm a registered dietitian. I started my own business about 6 months ago, Day by Day Nutrition.
Okay.
Before that, I was a wellness coach and a
Okay.
registered dietitian with a healthcare company. But really what helped me decide to get into nutrition and being a dietitian was growing up, it's confusing,
Yes.
especially as a young girl. I didn't know what the truth was as
Okay.
far as how to be healthy. There's all of these things out there telling you one thing or this thing. And so I just decided to go to school for nutrition. I fell
Right.
in love with it. There's so many different areas to look at, and the cultures and different people's different lives.
Right.
So there's a lot to work on. It's very exciting. There's never a dull moment,
Okay.
and I love doing what I do.
Well, I had the opportunity to listen to you last Saturday at our church at the breakfast. I was impressed because when you were talking, you had the confidence, there was no stammering, you knew what you were talking about. And I said, I got to have you on All Is Well with Dr. John A Lukyamuzi. And I've actually told my friends to watch you. So we got a good audience all over because of the high tech. And so let's really get started because it's really important for people to know why. What is it about to be a dietitian or a nutritionist? What is the difference even?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So there are two things that people typically call themselves when they're in the nutrition world.
Okay.
Either a nutritionist
Okay.
or a registered dietitian. Actually, anybody can actually call themselves a nutritionist. You don't have to get any specific schooling or
Okay.
degree.
Okay.
Registered dietitians have to go to school for 5 years. It's a 5-year program, and then you have to actually study and pass the boards to become a registered dietitian nationally accredited.
Okay.
And then you also have to apply to get your license to practice
Okay.
in certain states. So it's a medical profession, and there's a lot that goes behind it. But a lot of people call themselves a nutritionist, and they don't have any of that schooling.
Okay, because here's a good news, because this is not just like some of you are familiar with the term working under the table. She is registered. She is knowledgeable. She knows what she is talking about. And so also I want to draw your attention, you're welcome to call in. Those of you who are in the Cambridge areas, our number here is 617-876-0055. I repeat, the number is 617-876-0055 because we'll be limited with the time. But if you have a personal question, you're welcome to call in. And Jocelyn will be more than glad to answer that question. Now, like I said, she has her own business. And I'm just interested to know, how do you market your business? How do people get to know if people want to contact you? What are your contacts? How can they get hold of you?
Yep, so I have a website. It's www.daybydaynutrition.org.
Okay.
You can always email me at Jocelin, Jocelin, @daybydaynutrition.org.
Okay.
And those are direct contacts.
Okay.
I also belong to the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And this way helps me get into bigger, working with businesses to improve wellness in the workplace. So I can go in and do lunch and learns, do classes,
Wow.
and work with employees, which is a team building experience, which is
Okay.
great. So everybody has health in common.
By the way, when I had her speak last Saturday, she's willing to go an extra mile. And She even can come and shop with you if you call and you get scheduled and you get in her program. She will come and shop with you. She will even come and cook with you. So you do it right. And later on, towards the end, I'm going to ask her what are the terms for her services, because I mean, she puts her heart into it. But the most important thing, she wants you to be well. Because let me tell you, because I happen to be a Christian and also at the same time minister, because this diet and being a nutrition, it is really very compatible with God.
Absolutely.
Because when God created man, He wanted the man to have a relationship with God. And if you're going to have a good relationship with God, that you don't die before your age, you gotta know how to eat the right food, because you gotta kill yourself. But she's here to tell you how not to kill yourself. One time I had my personal worker, and he told me about 10 things that should never go through my mouth. Can you tell us about at least the 5 things that we should never dare to let go through our mouth?
Okay. First, there's probably only one thing I'll tell people to avoid like the plague,
Okay.
and it's called trans fats, and they're actually hidden in a lot of foods because companies and a lot of people know that they're not that great. They're a man-made substance, and what to look for on the ingredient label is actually partially hydrogenated oils. That is trans fat, and it might not say it has trans fat on the nutrition label, but if it has 0.5 grams or less per serving, they'll say 0. The reason why I say avoid this substance is because our bodies don't really break it down. It's man-made. It's a fat. It makes things flaky and it improves shelf life, so things don't spoil. But it really correlates with heart disease. There's a lot of research that says that trans fat and heart disease are linked. So definitely avoiding trans fat. Foods that have trans fat tend to be flaky pastries or fried foods, but you have to look at nutrition labels. Even some main brand peanut butters tend to have trans fat. So always look at the nutrition label for partially hydrogenated oils. Other than that, you really want to watch fat in general because it really increases your risk for heart disease. So a lot of fried foods, if you can bake them to make them crispy, they've come out with some new products. I don't know if you've ever heard of an air fryer. They makes foods crispy, but it doesn't use as much fat or oil, so it's better for your health overall. So fried foods, trans fats. I don't try to tell people not to eat things. It does have a lot to do with portions and the combinations of foods, in fact. But also, we want to stick to the more whole foods as possible. As you were saying, how faith is intertwined with nutrition. If you think of the food that is closest to nature, the closest to where it was produced by a higher being, then that's more healthy because it's going to already provide all of the nutritional aspects to it versus if it's processed.
Very good, very good. Now, sometimes it can be confusing because we have some science. They might say actually it's good to have fat, and then the others say don't. So what are the pros and the cons to have these fat foods?
Yeah, I definitely feel like a politician sometimes as a dietitian because those people who are saying don't eat fat and those people who are saying do eat fat, they're not necessarily wrong. It's all about moderation, right? So we do need fats, particularly because our brain runs off of fats, but you don't need a lot of fat. If you eat too much, which is very easy to do, especially in today's society and the food system, then you just it's an abundance, and then it's not good for you and not good for your heart, and it's not good for too many calories for your weight. So you do need some fats, especially we have vitamins A, D, E, and K are fat soluble. So you need fat in order to absorb those. So when you have a salad, that's why it's good to either have some nuts on there or have some olive oil with vinegar to absorb all of that vitamins and minerals that need fat to get absorbed.
Interesting, because when you look at these fruits, the vegetables, actually they were created by God. So that we can enjoy them, you know. But the problem comes when a man steps in And sometimes it's because of greed for money, before they want us to eat these things so they can make money. But let us remember, as believers in God, because the creation started with God. God created us, and He put these vegetables out there. He put these meats out there, and they are good for us, but we need to know the instructions. And that's why we are having Jocelin here, okay? Because everything has to do with instructions. If you do things right,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because she's into education. In other words, you can think right. Yeah. We can think right, and this is really powerful. I teach about relationship. There's nothing wrong when you are in a relationship, but the bottom line, it has to be done the right way. The same thing goes with the foods. Now, tell us the difference between people who are vegetarians and people who are non-vegetarians.
Yeah.
They're into eating the meat. I mean, I grew up man eating meat. My dad was a professional hunter.
Yeah.
So tell us again the difference.
Sure.
What are the differences?
So people who choose not to eat meat probably choose to do it for different reasons.
Okay.
Generally, science shows that if you're eating more plants-based foods, so whole grains, fruits and vegetables, versus majority meat, then
Right,
you have
right.
a lower risk for heart disease and other poor health outcomes.
Right.
However, you can eat a perfectly balanced, healthy diet. Eating animal proteins, it does again come down to the balance.
Okay.
And also with today's food system, if you can choose organic versus traditional processed meats, there's less risk because today there are lots of antibiotics, there's lots of hormones, again, not natural, not how it was originally meant to be,
Okay. Okay.
and that is also less good for your health.
Okay. Very good. Now let us talk about your role.
Yeah.
If I was to use one word to describe you,
Okay.
would I say you are an educator? Would I say you are a teacher? What are you really?
I really do consider myself a wellness coach. I
Okay.
help people overcome their barriers. Most
Okay.
people know, in general, what to do, what not to do, but it's really hard to get there.
Okay.
And there's always these things in your life that are getting in the way, and I help you overcome those barriers.
Very good. Now, I noticed you are a young lady. So far, what have you accomplished? So far, at this point,
So,
can you give us some testimonials or some
Sure.
people what they are saying? Okay.
So when, for example, when I talk about being a wellness coach and helping people overcome barriers, that might mean I'm focusing on things not just on nutrition, but ultimately indirectly affects nutrition and
Okay,
your
okay.
wellness intake. When I
Okay.
worked in a hospital in New Hampshire years ago, one of my biggest success stories and helped me realize how important this philosophy is this woman wasn't eating. She wasn't eating, and they had me come in and talk to her, and instead of just me really trying to feed her and trying to make sure she ate after 5 days of not eating, that gets to a point of, do we need to put her on a tube feed? So it gets pretty intense. And so she just kept talking about how she hasn't seen her husband, and she misses him. So, since he was in a nursing home, she was in the hospital, he couldn't come see her, they couldn't
Right.
see each other.
Right.
I set up Skype, and they got to talk
Interesting.
once a day. She started eating. So
Wow.
it's thinking outside the box of figuring out what is going to work for you health-wise. Obviously, that's a very extreme example, but another example might be if you are not sleeping very well. That's going to affect your hormones. That's going to affect your stress levels. That's going to affect your nutrition intake. So I'm going to work with you on how to set up good sleep habits in order to get balanced and ultimately get healthy with nutrition.
Well, that brings me to another question, which is very common. We end up being confused. You shouldn't eat when it is late at night. If it comes to this particular time, it's a cutoff. You know,
Yeah.
no more eating. So what would you recommend?
Yeah.
I mean, because people like me now and again, maybe if I go to bed, and I was born at night, I tend to go to bed late.
Yeah.
Now and again, I got that snack and I can't resist it. What would be your advice on that?
Okay. So first of all, not eating after a certain time works for a lot of people
Okay.
for certain reasons, mostly because a lot of people are triggered to overdo it at night
Right.
after
Right,
dinner.
right.
So if you're setting yourself a time to stop, that might just help you in general. Your metabolism is going to work the same no matter what time you eat though.
Right.
Think about different places around the world. People might not eat until 8 or 9 p.m., where in America you're eating at 5 or 6 p.m. usually.
Right.
So it doesn't matter necessarily the time, it more matters about your overall, the big picture. So if it helps you to stop eating at a certain time, great. If you do want a snack, try to make sure that there's always fiber and protein involved.
Okay.
That's going to help you feel full, and that's
Okay.
also going to balance your blood sugar.
Great. Now, give us, because you are really an expert in this, almost a specialist, what would be your philosophy when it comes to health?
Yes.
What is your top-notch philosophy?
Top notch, if I could say it as fast as possible, I'd just say start small, start now.
Okay,
And the 5 pillars of health to make sure that are in balance,
okay,
obviously nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep, and medication management. Trying to make sure all of those pillars in your life are in balance can ensure that you're in a healthy state.
powerful. This is very good for us to know. Now, we talked about the fats and we talked about the pros and the cons. And this is, I'd like to know your availability because people are hearing you. How available are you? And what are your terms for your service?
So availability, I'm very flexible right now. I've been working on my new business for 6 months now, and my
Okay.
favorite thing are to do classes. So I would love to come into either your workplace or your community. I'm doing classes at the Woburn High School right now. I'm doing classes in apartment complexes, but I can come to your business. And I love bringing people together in a team effort to create wellness because everybody
Okay.
has that in common.
Okay.
Availability, I'm very flexible for hours as
That's
far
good.
as you can call me and we can set up whatever works for you. That's part of the reason why I started my business is it's really hard for
Okay.
people to meet with a dietitian if you're working full time. You have to get referrals, you have to get
Yes.
insurance involved. I kind of have eliminated those barriers
Okay.
so that you can have access to scientific research and a coach without going through all of those hoops. And I can work with you to figure out what works best time-wise. And then as far as the other question, you want to know like the prices of my
Yes, the
services?
terms,
Okay.
yes.
So terms, if you wanted to work with me one-on-one, I'm also a certified diabetes educator, but my specialties are diabetes and weight loss for sure, but I definitely work with lots of other conditions, such as if you're trying to get pregnant or if you have high blood pressure, anything really pertaining to nutrition. The initial assessment is $129, and then follow-ups I can do over the phone, in person, whatever works best for you.
Okay.
And those are $49. And then the classes depend on class size
Okay.
and the content for pricing,
Okay.
but it's very similar.
The other thing I really wanted to talk to you about is about the diet programs because it can be confusing. Because a lot of people come up with some of these are really crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And the people, they get stressed out instead of actually being helped. They end up being depressed because they can't achieve their goals. And actually sometimes they do some of these diets are wrong and then they find out, oh, you're doing the wrong thing. And then they say, oh, you got started with this one.
Right.
So talk to us about these diet programs.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So right now health is a buzz. It's a huge buzz and it's great, but there's always that negative side to it of
Yes.
not understanding what to choose, what program to believe in, and some of the ones out there that have merit to them, but at the end of the day is not necessarily sustainable long term are
Yeah.
maybe things like Shakeology
Yeah.
or Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of people have success with those, but you want to make sure that you are looking intrinsically and saying to yourself, am I going to want to do this 5 years down the road? Is this realistic to create a lifestyle out of? And that's what I try to promote, is our changes and ways that you can develop a healthy lifestyle that works for a lifetime, instead of enrolling into a program that really is just trying to make money. And yes, you'll be healthier as a result of it, but you'll have to keep participating, keep paying to be a part of that business to
Okay.
stay healthy.
Now, I know you've been on this program for a while. What would you say the period you've been on the program in this being a dietitian? How long has you been doing it?
Yeah, I graduated college in 2013, and then so I've been a registered dietitian for a little over 3 years since college. But I've always had a huge interest in it, and I've been studying it for 5 years before graduation. And even in high school, I got into it. I knew my gym teacher's wife was actually a registered dietitian, so that's kind of my introductory role I had in mentor.
Jocelyn, would you be kind enough to tell us what has been your turning point, what has been your highlight as you've been doing this? Would you be glad to share with us?
So my turning point truly was starting my own business. It's been a dream of mine my entire life, and I really wanted to bring a new light to dietetics. Instead of dietitians, in my opinion, are typically in the hospital or in outpatient settings. And they have so much knowledge, and I just feel like because of insurance reimbursement, there's a lot that they cannot do because their time is restrained and the reimbursement is restrained. So I have kind of gotten out of that sector and just gotten into the commercial world so that I can bring as much forth as I want and as I possibly think I can. So it was holding me back a little bit.
Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you, you people do the nutrition, also use the word swaps. Could you be kind enough to talk about that? Because again, our program is also international. There's no nation in the whole world which is has so many nationalities, because you hear that term like swaps, like I never heard about that.
What's it called?
Swaps.
Swaps?
Yeah. SWAPS. Did I pronounce that right? It's another term they use, I've heard. I can't remember what it is, but I've never understood it myself.
Okay, so healthy swaps for ingredients.
Yes.
So I have some great easy things to do that you won't even really remember that you made this swap, but you're doing yourself a lot of good. So for instance, if you try to use avocado instead of mayonnaise, you're using a healthier fat. So on sandwiches, using avocado, or if you're making tuna salad, use avocado instead of mayonnaise. It's a great, easy, healthy swap, and it tastes great. Another really easy healthy swap is choosing plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. If you're having a baked potato or if you're having Mexican food, putting some plain Greek yogurt on food instead of sour cream, you're increasing your protein, and it doesn't have any fat in it compared to sour cream, and it's a great substitution.
Very good. Well, there is something I really want to mention here at this juncture, because I'm talking about the consumption of food, even into the Old Testament and into the New Testament, because the Bible says, and I think this is really very important, when God created man and when we become believers, the Bible says that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Ghost. In other words, Godhead, I'm talking about the Holy Spirit, I'm talking about Jesus Christ, I'm talking about God, one. We become the temple of God. So you are responsible to take care of your temple. It is where you dwell. Not only you are the spirit being, but also God, the head, dwells in your temple. You are the temple. So this is something really very, very important that we need to pay attention, because it's not only about you, but also God created you so that you can really enjoy life, so you can really be happy. Because if we don't get the education we are getting now from Jocelyn, it's going to affect your temple. It's going to affect your heart. There are many times we get heart diseases when we shouldn't be, because the way we eat. You eat junk food. Did God create junk food?
Typically, no. I think man created junk food. Cheese balls. I think man created cheese balls.
There you go. No, this is really important, because this idea of junk food, which can really kill you, And I know the temptation is very high, but this is the time you need to discipline yourself. I normally tell people, I use this myself every day, and there are 5 Ds. Number 1, you got to have some discipline. Watch what you're putting in your mouth. Number 2, you have to make a decision. Control your hand before you put it in your mouth. Get that decision. And then number 4, you have to be determined. Yes, I know the temptation is so high, but you're looking about you being the temple of the Holy Ghost. So you need to take care of the temple. It's really, really important how you dress. Look at Jocelyn, she looks good because she's a disciplined young lady. Amen? She knows how to dress, she knows how to appear, because we have to remember, as God's creation, He has created us to be ambassadors. Because people look at you, guess who gets the glory? It is God. So pay attention. And then the other thing is to be determined. I'm going to make this. And especially when you have people like Jocelyn, you're going to feel that you are by yourself. Jocelyn is willing. And this girl can work hard because I've been communicating with her since Saturday. She knows how to get the message to you with this high tech. She will text it to you. She will, one way or another, she's going to get back to you. This is what I found out the little time I've known Jocelyn. She will communicate to you because communication is very important. But she has made a decision. She has got the education. It was not a piece of cake to go through your education. You had to do that because you really want to help people. And what I do, to helping people, motivating people, encouraging people, motivating people, so that their lives can be changed. When God created us, He wanted us to have abundant life. And I just wanted to tell you that because this is what this program is all about, to help you. To help you. And again, you are welcome. If you have any question, we are left with probably about 10 minutes. And when you have time, you can give us a call at, what is the phone number? 617-876-0055. This is here at our studio in Cambridge. And because of the high tech, you can call in and we can be able to talk to you. You can be able to talk to Jocelyn. And we are approaching this from the natural point of view, but also from the spiritual point of view, because they go hand in hand. Now, because we are left with that time, I really want, is there anything you feel, Jocelyn, you want to tell the audience?
Well, Dr. John, I just feel a bit inspired for everything that you're talking about, the body being your temple.
Yes.
It's really, I think, a powerful message.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, it's really hard to stay disciplined and to choose healthy choices, even if you want to.
Yeah.
So a viewpoint that if you really just digest and accept and embrace the fact that your body is a temple and it should be respected and that it should be taken care of, that should really help motivate you.
That's good.
And keep you excited to keep it healthy.
That's
because
good.
A lot of people, they're so selfless, and if you're putting everybody else first, you're not thinking of how important it is to treat yourself well. And you're not just doing it for you, though. You're doing it for the greater good. You're doing it for God. So if you keep that in mind when you're making your choices, then it will just help you that much more.
Can you also preach, Jocelyn?
Hey, you never know.
That's good. That's good word. She just gave us the word. She can preach too, So this is the one stop over. That's very good. Okay, because I really consider this to be very important as we talk of this. And I mentioned the 4 Ds. Let me mention the 5th D. It's about the desire. All of us, we have the desire, okay? What you should be, because that's the way God has created us. We have a desire. And it's very important, your desire to come to pass, whatever it is, you must follow the guidelines. Okay? You must follow the instructions. And I really think, Jocelyn, you are really blessing to be in the community. And I'm going to ask you later on some more questions because you are really blessing. There is no reason to suffer the consequences. Because a lot of people suffer the consequences due to lack of knowledge. If you don't understand this diet or the health or the wellness, God wants you to be well, by the way. That's really important. God wants you well. But He has also provided people like Jocelyn. He has provided people like doctors. These people, by the way, when you get to look at it, they work for God. Seriously, you work for God. That's a good position because you want to help people so that they can be well. It is God's will for you to be well, but you need to listen. You need to learn. You need to get educated because the moment you do that, you'll be successful. Your family will enjoy you. Your friends will enjoy you. Think about it. Things don't happen by themselves. Here comes another question, Jocelyn.
Sure.
How do you manage to keep yourself good looking, good shape? How do you do it?
There's a lot of internal, like I meditate.
Okay.
So when you really focus on trying to listen to your body,
Okay.
being more in the moment.
Okay.
So sometimes I will be tired and it's okay to take a break and take 5 minutes, just listen to your breath, being more centered with yourself and just embracing the day, being
Wow.
here today,
Wow.
and really living in the moment. It's amazing what it can do for
Okay.
your health and also for the expansion of your thoughts and being able to live your dreams and believe in yourself. And then health-wise, you know, everybody has different things they enjoy, and maybe you're not doing something you enjoy right now exercise-wise because maybe your health condition you experience pain or something like that. Think about something you may have enjoyed in the past,
Okay.
and then work toward it. The idea is, can you find 10 minutes
Yes.
to take a walk?
Yes.
And over time, your body will adapt and get stronger, and then
Yes.
maybe you can get back to something you enjoyed when you were younger, maybe sports, maybe tennis, maybe hiking. So yeah, it might not be realistic tomorrow to
Yes.
jump into something that you know is healthy, but if you can start where you are and go slowly, and just take it day by day, literally,
Right,
as
right.
my message,
Right.
as my business says,
Okay.
that helps. So really, I take it day by day, and obviously there's a lot of game planning and planning ahead, but at the end of the day, I definitely really try to listen to myself as well.
Well, I told you Jocelyn is a preacher also, and when I asked her that question, she said, number one, you have to meditate. By the way, that's a biblical term, meditation. What does it mean? You ponder, you think about. Because if you meditate wrongly, you will believe wrongly, you will live wrongly. But if you meditate the right way, in this case, to be healthy, to be well, guess what? You will be able to live healthy, you will look good. And the other thing she mentioned was about the body. Listening. Is that the term you used? Listening to your body. Because the body, listen to this, the body never lies. Okay? You can actually, sometimes you eat something and the body's like, man, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Listen to your body, okay? Because the body knows what it doesn't like. Don't force your body. Amen? Because the body will tell you, that cake keys is enough. And it's like, oh, I need more. No, control it. Because you are the boss. You are a spirit being. Listen to your body. Because once you bring it into discipline, then you'll be a good ambassador. You will feel good. You will sleep good. You will perform good. Because you are feeling good. That's really very, very important. And what an opportunity to have you, Jocelyn, to come and because you put in the time to study, to get the education. And tell us a little bit about, I know you got an undergraduate degree. Could you share with us your qualifications you have gone to get the secondary education? Would you be glad? Would you share that with us, please?
So I went to Syracuse University, and I'm really happy I went there. I actually went through a very intense counseling program there, so that really helped me work with people one-on-one on a level that helped them further than just prescribing them a diet, because anybody can just hand you a piece of paper and say, follow this. However, that doesn't work. And you can Google a diet program, and it's just not the best way to go about it in order to be successful. So I really had an intense counseling program with Syracuse University. I also studied abroad for 4 months while I was there. I went to Florence, Italy, and there I learned a lot about culture and the culture of food. And I took a very interesting course. I took the Mediterranean diet, but it was taught by a German historian.
Wow.
So here I am learning about the Mediterranean diet from somebody with a totally different background. So I learned the origin of different ingredients and how, say, tomatoes came to be popular in certain regions of Italy versus not. And then same thing with other sorts of foods and how the Silk Road impacted all kinds of different ingredients and then the nutrition component behind it too, depending on the status of the country and how well they were doing successful-wise, whether they had to rely on certain crops or other crops. So it's fascinating, and learning about the history also just helps you learn and see the bigger picture moving forward in the present.
You mentioned the word coaching,
Yes.
because before I'm a life coach, spiritual coach, and it's something. Actually, I learned this at the University of Washington, and I was really impressed. You talk about the goals, you talk about reality, you talk about the options, you talk about the willingness. In 1 minute, would you tell my audience what are you talking about when you say coaching?
Yeah, so what I identify as coaching is really providing empowerment for somebody to help them believe in themselves, that they can achieve what they want to achieve. And I always say, you're the driver and I'm in the passenger seat just helping you navigate where to go. So I'm never going to tell you exactly what to do, but I'm going to help you make sure that you're on the right track. And how I do that is I help you set up monitoring tools for yourself to track. And then I also provide education obviously about nutrition. And then you take what makes sense for you and don't take all of it at once, and then you implement it in your daily routine, and then I follow up with you. The follow-up and accountability is huge.
Very good.
So I definitely recommend working with people maybe once a week for the first month or so, and then it can be a little bit longer stints of time in between, but it's definitely important to have that collaborative and coaching relationship.
Very good. Again, we are very much running out of the time. Would you be kind enough to give how people can reach you?
Absolutely.
Because this is very important.
Awesome. All right. So my name is Jocelin Lamprey. You can actually contact me via phone if you want it at 781-779-5877. Or you could always email me at Jocelin, Jocelin, @daybydaynutrition.org. Or you can visit my website at www.daybydaynutrition.org.
Well, this has been a very great pleasure to have you, Jocelyn, here.
Thank you.
I know you put in the time to come and visit because you care about people. I can see the passion in you. And that is very good because when you look at the ministry of Jesus Christ, he cared about people. And because he cared about people, there were miracles. And some of you might say, well, maybe this is not for me. I'm too old. No, there's no such a thing, you're getting old. So long as you're breathing, Jocelyn will come and help you. Don't count yourself out because God is not done with you. And that's why we are bringing these kind of programs so that you can get the education, you can be a better person. Because sometimes we say, well, I'm just too old. No. There's no such a thing. God can't use you when you are dead. He can only use you when you are alive. And thank God for people like Jocelin who have made it a goal to come and help you. Again, I want to say thank you very much, our Facebook audience, to log in or tune in, and also here in Cambridge on CCTV. I want to thank you very much for joining us today. This program is called All Is Well with Dr. John A Lukyamuzi, and that is going to make a difference when you believe in God. God will help you always. Because some of you say, this is too much, it's too late for me. No, it's never too late with God. So that's why I want to encourage you. You can reach us on our website, cfmfan.org. I repeat, cfmfan.org. Also, you can call us at 206-7775-885. 206-7775-885. Again, I appreciate you for tuning in today. God bless you. I love you all. My name is Dr. John A Lukyamuzi with Christian Faith Ministries for all nations. Our mission is to teach and change people through the gospel of the good news. Would you care to help us? And by joining us and being partners, visit our website, cfmfan.org. Thank you for your donation, and God bless you.